Hi, and welcome back to spooky October, the show Sunday. I don't really know the best way to describe this, even though we've done this so many times. Um, this week we watched the classic edgelord anime Death Note.
Yep.
Yep.
And it has been quite a long time since I've watched this. I only watched the dub, which is kind of funny because like everyone knows the sub version, but since I couldn't find the sub version on YouTube back in the Wild West days of YouTube,
Oh wow, the Wild West days.
yeah, I had to watch the dub version, but the dub version's pretty good. So it was just nice to hear the same voices again, and I remembered how certain people spoke. It's actually really interesting, but yeah. So this would have been my this is my third viewing of the first. We ended up watching 7 episodes because I totally forgot that there was an arc in the beginning, and it wrapped up in episode 7. So we just went 1 episode more. But these
We
two
completed an arc.
Yeah, but these two have either not watched much of it or at all. So you guys can start.
Tara, you go first.
Yeah, I was. So, I guess I might as well say that I had tried watching this, I think in middle school or something, but I actually lost interest in it after the first 1.5 episodes. Actually, because I was like, at the time I was like, I don't know if this anime is for me. I mean, I had watched it because a lot of people were like, yeah, this is a great anime and you should watch it, and like I've seen a lot of fan art for it and everything, so I was like, okay, let me give it a try. Gave it a try, wasn't that interested in it, so I was like, okay, I at least gave it a try. But that said, that's not to say that it's not a good premise, it's just not something I personally would like at the time that I personally would have continued watching and stuff like that. That said,
it definitely very much has its own specific kind of vibe it's going for. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it's like, as long as it's a vibe that you want to continue watching, then yeah, it definitely sucks you in, and for a majority of people that does happen. And this time watching it, I was like, we of course did not stop at 1.5 episodes. We kept going, of which I was like, I didn't realize, like, again, I had seen like fan art and stuff, and I know the basic. We didn't see the girl.
Oh, Misa?
Yeah, we didn't see Misa.
No. Yeah, you don't meet her for a little bit.
Yeah, but I was like, I didn't realize like how narcissistic and egotistical Light was.
Yeah, I forgot how much I hated him until we like started watching this again.
Yeah, because I was just like, wait a minute, this could have all been avoided if he just wasn't a narcissist and an egotist. And
if you weren't just a giant asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I was just like, wait a second. He literally was like, yeah, I want to make it known that I'm the one doing all of this. And then later he's like, yeah, I'm going to track L down. And I was like, but that has nothing to do with your, like...
Your initial mission.
Yeah, your initial mission. Why are you going down this, like... I mean, it's not like I completely agree with your thing or whatever, but this seems to be, like, a complete detour from what you're supposed to be doing. And then he's, like, killing FBI agents. He just kills the guy on the TV and everything, and I'm just like, man, this is more crazy than I anticipated this to be.
Light's really fucked up.
I was like, this is way more crazy than I thought that I was getting into, actually.
I mean, literally, I think it might have all the way been back in episode 1, though it might have been episode 2. He's like, I'm gonna become a god of the new world or something, and it's like, alright, bro, like, calm down.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, oh boy, okay, this is the path. Because I knew that he was writing down, like, the general thing that I knew was that he writes down names of, like, a bunch of criminals and whatnot.
It starts that way.
And I saw that too, and I was like, okay, I don't really see, it makes sense that this would get the attention. Like, the way I thought it was going to go is that I didn't know about the fact that he killed everyone via the same method of heart attack or anything. So I was like, okay, it's probably suspicious to, like, law enforcement and everything, that all these criminals, and then he's like, it's a game of cat and mouse and everything, and they're just kind of like, it's like a slow progression.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect Elle to appear and be like, him to be like, yeah, I want people to know, I want to be a god, I'm going to make it extremely obvious. And I'm like, this is just two people just trying to one-up each other.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
is the basic thing that happens in a good chunk of this anime.
Yeah. But yeah, Valen, you can. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't know anything about the story besides the initial premise that everyone knows.
Yep.
And like I recognized like Light as a character, like the image of him. I'm like, that's the guy from Death Note, isn't the. And
Yeah.
also Ryuk, I'd seen him before, and I knew he was from Death Note, but I didn't know anything about him. And that was basically it. So, like, here's how little I knew. I thought Elle and Light were the same person, because I thought, like, Elle was just, like, a code name or something that Light used. I don't know. Like, I didn't realize there was, like, oh, actually, two completely different people. Actually, something kind of funny about that. So, this, like, unlocked a memory that I didn't realize I still had. When I saw the fancy L that he used for, like, this on, like, the screen to represent himself or whatever, I remembered that back, like 2008 or so, 2007, 2008, back when, like, you could, like, with, like, YouTube channels, you could, like, comment on each other's channels and shit like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
There was this guy who was basically just, like, a shithead troll who had that L as his, like, profile picture.
Oh, I get that.
And now I'm like, wow, that makes complete sense. Because, yeah, like, again, both of the characters are just, like, basically, like, egomaniacs. And they're just trying to use everyone else as pawns for their own, what they think is the right idea, and what's really just what is their own self-satisfaction. And, like, if you accept that, and again, also you have to just accept some standard animeisms of, like, somehow, like, teenagers are, like, outsmarting all the professional adults and all that kind of shit,
Yeah.
So, so if you accept all that, and you accept sort of, again, what this is actually going for, I think for what it is, it does actually do a legitimately good job at what it's doing. It's just that what it's doing is really kind of silly, but you just sort of have to accept that, because, like, again, I look at this, I am legitimately actually curious to see where the story goes, but just from sort of like a writing, curiosity perspective, I don't really want to see how the story goes, because, oh man, I care so much for Light. It's like, no, I don't give a shit about Light, but, like, I'm curious about the actual narrative that they're going for this, and I'm just curious to see how far this is gonna go.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, this seems like it kind of reminds me of, like, it's like two people. Do you guys remember the Death of Superman video and how he was explaining how, like, Batman would solve the situation? I don't even remember what the super villain was in that. I just remember it was Grey Hulk or whatever. Like how Batman would resolve it, but then Superman and Grey Hulk just have this fight of, like, who can punch each other harder.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
Except instead of punches, it's who can outsmart the other person.
Yeah. No, and it's just, like, again, this, like, it has this, like, edginess in it, but, like, I don't know, I'm like, I feel like the people making this, did they know that this was ridiculous? Or do they actually try to treat it seriously?
No,
I don't know, because, like, again, like, even the opening, there's a moment in the opening where, like, you know, where you can see there's like this fucking the light and L or have this like fucking like stare down or whatever. There's just like epic zooms like coming in on them, and it's just like, all right, it's like calm down. It's not that big of a deal.
Oh, and then when like Light takes like a bite out of the apple, and he's like, "Yes, the forbidden fruit."
Oh my god!
It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, no, and the fact that like again at the end of every opening, right before the actual episode starts, you see this like Light in this like pose, or it looks like he's dead, and then you just hear this like apple crunch like right there. I'm just like, it's just funny. I don't know why. It's just this like awkward edginess, which is funny. It makes it entertaining, and I want to keep watching it, but like. I'm not taking this seriously, you know. Yeah, it's not like a full.
That is the best way to watch this, because I remember, like when I was younger, when you're younger, you don't necessarily like have all the analytical skills of like when you dissect like media.
Yeah.
So I got super frustrated with the plot at some point because I felt like it didn't make sense anymore. But with like this new adult perspective of like, this is just silly, edgy fun. Maybe I can actually enjoy the second part a little bit more, because I get fucking nuts, and I'm just like, I don't even know who thought this was like a sound plot.
Yeah, I absolutely understand, especially if they're like middle or high school at the time when you watch this, that you were like, yo, this is the most like badass and like edgy and like awesome thing ever, and like Light's so smart and he really understands how the world is. Like I totally get that. But I totally get like getting really
why this was really
I totally get like people taking this super seriously, because I feel like I'm not 100% sure if I would have been that person, but I absolutely know people who were that person, and I totally see why, which honestly makes it even funnier looking back at it. But like, it's just like, I know, it's just this, I don't know. I was thoroughly entertained, and I want to see more just because I want to see what happens. And again, because is it? Did I close it out of it?
It's 37 episodes.
Okay, so there's just 30 more episodes to go.
Yeah, that's
30
not
more episodes of Chaos.
Yeah, and that's, I can't math set. Well, 37 is the prime number, so it's not a nice price.
Chaos is a good way to describe what Death Note is. It is just pure chaos that exists in a vacuum.
Oh, yeah. One small thing I'll mention that I noticed. I remember watching, I don't remember who made this video or anything like that, but there is one person who was talking about Death Note and whatnot, of which one thing they mentioned I was looking out for, and I did notice it, but this author tends to not be very good at writing female characters.
No, yeah. I think that might have been Dom Noble's video.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep in mind there's a lot of misogyny going on.
Yeah.
Like, even with spoilers for one of the most popular anime that everyone had watched when they were like an edgy teenager. The most competent woman character, and I think the entire series, she's not taken seriously at all, and she dies very unceremoniously. And then some of the other female characters that get introduced are either just annoyingly frustrating, like Misa and the other love interest.
There's another love interest?
Yeah, you can see why I got frustrated when I was younger. Or like the family members, like Light's mother doesn't do anything, and then Light's sister doesn't really do anything. The only other female character that does come in is associated with Elle in some way, but yeah, there's like 5 female characters, 3 of which are important, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, like...
Yeah, and they're all written terribly.
Okay, because I thought I forgot her name, but the FBI woman in these last few episodes, she was overall okay, fine.
Yeah,
but
that's the best we're gonna get.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, great. But even then, there was a moment. I think was it Light who said it was. I think it was Light who's like, you know, there was some comment where he said like, you know, she's something in her, she like might have it in her purse, like a woman or something, and I'm like, what? It came the fuck out of nowhere, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why'd you say that?
Oh, and then like the FBI woman's like fiance was like, yeah, you shouldn't be working and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that too.
That was so fucked up, and then he dies.
Yeah, and I was like, it's supposed to be taken as a romantic moment that he's basically like talking down to her, being like,
Go back to the kitchen, bitch.
Just be popping out babies. Your mind will be elsewhere once you have babies and
you gotta be my trad wife.
Trad wife.
Oh my
Goals.
god. Yeah. Yeah. Like, but again, to me, like, I don't really take this seriously, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me that much in this context. I don't know. Maybe I like it should bother me more, but I don't know. When something's already just like kind of I'm seeing it with this mindset, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like,
it'll just get crazier and crazier.
Yeah. I have actually two really random things to mention.
Yeah.
One is that, like, I actually kind of see parallels between this and Code Geass. I think Code Geass is overall, like, you know, more serious and has done better in that way, but it is sort of that idea of, like, main character gets an ability to do a thing that has limitations, but is incredibly broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from there, they're like, I'm going to do a couple things just to sort of test this out and see what I can do. But then all of a sudden, oh shit, I'm wrapped up in all of this fuckery. And it just sort of gets more and more and more. And every time it seems like, you know, maybe things are going to calm down or something. It's like, nope, more shit happens. And it's like this sort of building and building and building until, of course, the end of the show. So I'm wondering, because I'm pretty sure this came out before Code Geass. I believe this was 2004, I think?
It's either 2004 or 2006.
Oh, 2006. Actually, I think that's like the same as Code Geass. Anyway,
oh yeah, maybe they ran concurrently. Actually.
It might have, but yeah, it's just kind of similar in that sense that I find kind of interesting. I don't think Code Geass is like over the top edgy, but I'm sure if you watch when you watch it, you will see the parallels. I do think that said, I think Lelouch is like actually a character you can actually get behind. It's just a complete.
Light is fucking insane.
Yeah, I think Lelouch is a much better like handled character where he's clearly has problems and the show acknowledges that he's not okay all the time, but at the same time he's not a fundamentally like fucked up person. So yeah, anyway.
Speaking of, I'm just like, all those people that drew fan arts of Light and Lisa together.
Yeah, that makes no sense because their relationship is super broken.
Yeah, now I'm just like, what did they see? I mean, we never even met Misa yet, and I'm just like, this guy is already crazy. He called some girl out on a date just to...
Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that, yeah. Is Misa the girl that has like the kind of like double pigtail thing on the side of her head?
That's the blonde girl.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I may have seen her before, but you know, occasionally. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention, this is super random, and I was trying to look this up because I didn't remember exactly what it was, and so I was like, oh, what the fuck is it? Because I wanted to remember it, but I couldn't find it in the Wikipedia summary, so I'll just say screw it, and I guess we'll have to find out ourselves. There is actually somehow a connection with Death Note and Death Parade.
Wait,
what?
Really?
And I don't exactly remember how this works, because again, it was an episode we did not see together, so it was from when I saw the rest of it. But apparently there's one moment where you actually, like, see one of the characters. I think it might be Light, but I'm not 100% certain. I don't remember.
Well, we'll find out when we watch the rest of it.
Yeah, it was something that was, like, really random, because I remember when I was watching it, or I was looking at, like, YouTube comments, and that was basically what everyone was freaking out about in the comments. Like, oh my god, that blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, like, I didn't get it, but alright. So, but yeah, I don't remember the specific. Again, I thought I remembered reading about it on the Wikipedia plot summary, but I don't see it there when I looked at it this time.
It out.
I did kind of skim it though, so I might have just missed it. But yes, that's a really random connection. But yeah, so overall, entertaining is the best way to put it, I guess.
Yeah, very entertaining.
Well, I think, Tara, you have the next thing for us.
Hold on. Sorry.
Oh, good lord.
Okay, continue.
Yes, I do have the next thing for us. It's okay. Well, I thought the Death Note would be a mystery, but it turns out it's not. Mystery it is not. Strangely enough.
It's sort of more like a cat and mouse type of thing, more so, because you know what's going on. It's just
Yeah.
other people are trying to figure out what's going on.
It more than a cat and mouse. It's more of who gets to outsmart the other person.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it definitely was more chaos than expecting. The next one is more mystery and less chaos. Far less
Right.
chaos. So there is like one small thing. But we're gonna be watching Erased for the next one. So we have Death, Death, and Erased. We have
Nice.
and we're breaking the trend here.
We're erasing all the names from the Death Note.
Not everything is named Death something.
I don't actually know any other shows that have death in the title.
I mean, I'm sure something exists, but yeah. I don't know
Probably,
anything.
but yeah.
I feel like I've heard of Erased in the sense that, like, I know that there is a show named Erased. That is literally it. I don't know anything else.
I watched this a very long time ago. Not as long ago as Death Note, but a very long time ago. I also just know that the Japanese name for this anime is very weird and long, so everyone just called it Erased.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember liking it.
I remember liking it too.
Don't remember certain parts of it, but I do remember the overall plot. So
Same,
it'll
yeah.
be interesting to see it again.
Yeah. Yeah, it is that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so not that. It's also 12 episodes, so I guess we'll also be watching half of it.
Yay!
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yep. I'm not going to really reveal too much about it because it is a mystery, so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
can't really do that. But yeah, I remember liking it. I did read the manga actually as well, and I did finish it. So yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys think about it as we continue this spooky month of October. Woo!
Oh yes, from contemplating existentialism and the meaning of life to just pure edge. To
Craziness.
Just pure edge and chaos.
I know, man. Like mid 2000s was a time.
It really
was.
So much edge.
I remember when people would carry around death notes too.
Oh my god, I remember when that was a problem.
I'm gonna write your name down in my death note.
You're gonna die.
Well, I guess so. Next Sunday, Erased.
Yep.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.